There is a haunting at this location.
They had satanic rituals in the building every night. It scared me to death.
This is actually happening. I'm witnessing something paranormal.
People are scratched, pushed, thrown.
It is going to attack you unless you move.
I've seen men drop to their knees. My ghost story began when I started working for Bobby Mackey's Music World in Wilder, Kentucky.
Testing 1, 2, 3, check.
Bobby Mackey's is a big nightclub where Bobby Mackey plays classic country music. I play DJ music and line dancing. We have a mechanical bull in the back, and we also are known for being haunted. I was leery of working at Bobby's because I'd heard there were demonic things there. Bobby's was a slaughterhouse in the 1800s. Then it was converted in 1922 to a small club, small bar, took over by the mob. They had a satanic cult that was doing rituals in the building every night. And finally, Bobby Mackey took over the club in 1978. My first experience at Bobby Mackey's was working in the DJ booth. I'd been there about a week, and that's when I heard voices calling my name. Then I felt the hand touching me, and I would turn and nobody was there. One night, I was standing in the ballroom with my daughter. It was real early. We were the only ones in the building at the time. Nobody else was there. We took several photos, and I was shocked. Spirits filled this mist over the top of my daughter's head. It scared me to death. A lot of entities were mixed into this mist. I didn't know why they were around her, why they were around me. It's scary. But I see all kinds of things from all the people who come in. Someone took a photo in the basement, but I couldn't believe what he had to show me. It looked like a fire burst shooting out of the door, like something blowing up coming out of the door. Orbs seem to be the biggest thing that we catch at Bobby Mackey's. Orbs are spirits of people that have been there. I was outside the club, curious if anything will show up like all these spirits that I catch on the inside. And I shot a picture, and it was full of orbs. One of them was huge. It looked like a full moon. Only the full moon was behind me that night, not over the top of the building. It made me feel like there's no limit to where the spirits can go. They're everywhere. They're inside, they're outside of the building, they're over the top of the building, they're in the parking lot. I've heard of people having them in their cars and following them home. Bobby Mackey put me in charge of running a gift shop. I had the keys to all these padlocks. I'm the only person with that key besides one other manager that worked for the bar. I would come in at night and all the padlocks would be open. And I'd ask the other manager, "Are you opening them?" She said no. So I'd come back in and there they were, all unlocked again. So finally one night we had a group of people come in for an investigation.
I was invited to investigate the haunting of Bobby Mackey's. I've heard of the story before, and I was intrigued by all of the claims. And if there were satanic rituals that took place in that location, the higher probability of something negative being there. I met my team members and we began the investigation. When you first walk in, it's very unsettling. That little bit of fear kind of sets in as well, going, what really am I walking into? Starting off the night, we were in the ballroom area doing an EVP session. An EVP session is a recording session to try to capture electronic voice phenomena. You talk out to the entities and you try to get a response. Is there anybody in this room that wishes to communicate with us tonight? On the recording, you're listening for anything that comes through that you didn't hear at the time. Listening back, we hear a growling noise. I froze. I froze in place, my feet didn't want to move, the hair stood up on the back of my neck, and I asked my friends, did anybody else hear that? I didn't tell them what I heard, but they confirmed they heard a growl. And at that point I knew what I just heard was real. And I knew if there was a growling going on, it's probably not a good sign.
Over here we have the well.
We went to the basement because we wanted to cover every possible area we could to witness any kind of paranormal activity. And we knew one of the hot spots was the basement.
Sometimes we get rocks and things thrown at us too, so just be aware that could happen.
It's good to know.
Down in the basement, we have problems with men getting scratched, pushed, thrown, all kinds of things. I've seen men drop to their knees.
Well, the stories that we heard about Bobby Mackey's, some pointed to the possibility of a demonic entity. So we decided to take a demonologist with us to find out if it really was, in fact, a negative or demonic entity. He calls himself a religious demonologist, so he would do his own version of taunting and provoking using the name of God.
If there are any demons of the dark, in the name of the Lord, I command you, make yourself known.
And on the recording, I start saying something, but over me, a voice pops in, almost like it's standing next to the recorder, and it's telling us, get out before the demon gets you. It was shocking. My heart was racing at the time because honestly, I didn't know if I was in real danger. I didn't know what was going to happen to me, if I was about to be attacked, or is this just a sign? It did feel like a warning, almost like there is something negative there and it is going to attack you unless you move. All the signs were pointing to something was about to happen, and not in a good way. And that's when I felt 2 pressure points on my chest. One was on this side, one's on this side. And the next thing I know, I'm pushed up against the concrete wall with such of a force that the air actually did leave my lungs. It took me a minute to get my breath back, and I was in shock. Everybody in the room clicked on the flashlights real quick. They had no idea what just happened. All they heard was something hitting the wall. The person closest to me was 5 feet away. Any movement for them to get to me, if they were trying to mess with us, would have made some kind of noise. They couldn't get to me and back to their spot without making a noise in that quick of a time. So in my mind, if it goes to that extreme to physically injure me, the spirit's telling me, you're not welcome here.
Eric was also pushed up against the wall by one of these spirits. Someone else was taunting that night.
We are not afraid of you.
And a lot of times it's not the person who's taunting that gets the bad end of the deal. I always tell the people when they come in, be careful what you ask for, because if you ask for it, you are going to get it.
All of the evidence and my physically being pushed by something I couldn't see definitely proves to us there is a haunting at this location. There definitely is something that we can't explain, and it's very real, and if you're not careful, it can hurt. It can come after you. It's something that you need to take seriously.
I say to people who say it's not real or we're making it up, I'm not here to convince you. You just come to Bobby Mackey's. The building does it for itself.
You need to experience it firsthand.
Whoa.
When it happens to you, you'll know. You can look all day and say it's fake, but I know what I lived through, and it's real.
I say my prayers when I go to the club. I say my prayers when I leave the club. I love working at Bobby Mackey's, but if these spirits start following me home or messing with my family, that's when I'm going to end it. That's when I'm going to leave.